everyone, and welcome back to the RMTV Women's Podcast. This is episode 191. We are gracing you with our presence once again. Hopefully regular pods are back. It was very nice to see everyone's lovely comments after last week's podcast.
Very nice.
Saying hello. And shout out to the man who came up to me in the Clipper as well after the match. It was really nice. He came over to say hello and say like he loved having the podcast back, and me being the socially awkward person I am was like, thank you. And that was it. So yeah, thank you for coming over. It was very nice of you. But yeah, we are back for another podcast. Obviously the season is over now. Kind of bittersweet. Like I'm pretty sure everyone's happy for like a kind of like a mental break from it all, but also it's weird having your weekends not filled with football. But World Cup's just around the corner, so we don't have to wait too long for that. But we won't dive into that this week. We'll talk about that another time, close to time. But what we do want to talk about is potentially the women's team being involved with kind of the buyback of Melwood. Hopefully, maybe, who knows? I think this was mentioned like earlier on in the year, and I think Jamie Carragher like kind of confirmed that it was something that was being discussed earlier on in the year, but it was kind of put on the back burner a little bit. But it's resurfaced over the last couple of weeks. A number of different outlets have reported it. Obviously, don't always believe the media, but some very reliable sources have reported it. But yeah, I just wanted to try and get like overall thoughts on this. Like we have spoke about this previously, like it being an option for our women's team.
Oh, bless me. Thank you. Sorry.
But yeah, I think it will be such a brilliant opportunity to kind of have that space for the women's team. However, it has been touched on that it wouldn't be like a big enough facility to house first team, reserves, under 18s, under 21s, all that kind of jazz. Like, and I think it's kind of important to keep those groups together, especially since we've welcomed having so many youth players come through into the first team over the last couple of seasons and trying to like utilize that. So
yeah,
and I don't know, like if you feel the same, what's your kind of thoughts on it? Like, it's going to be a good thing either way, but it's just whether you use it in the right way.
Yeah, it seems like the most appropriate option and the most like the option that makes the most sense, really, doesn't it? Because I think it's about time that the women's team had a facility that they would call their own. And I think although Tranmere has been a nice home for what is it, 3 or 4 years now? It's been quite a while that we've been It's been a while since we've been like stationed there, but like even to the part of like I've never been to Tranmere. I've not been to the training pitch. You have. And essentially it is like a bit of a field, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, to put it bluntly. So to go from that to then an not purpose built, but purposeful building for them, I think would be really, really, really good. I think lol for us, right around the corner, fantastic.
Yeah, we'd be over the walls.
Yeah, we would. Yeah, fantastic. A little interview over the wall. You never know.
Yeah.
Oh my God, could you imagine? Arrest these 2 girls now. They're trust. No, I'm going to carry on that conversation. Anyways, I think it would be really good, to have a purpose-built facility. I think it would just make the whole thing feel a little bit more put together and professional. Not training at another club's facility, I think one is a big thing. But then I understand your point as well that it won't be enough to house all of the pathway teams, which I agree with you is important. I think the young footballers who are part of the women's like build up need to see these first team players. They need to see the visibility, and then they need to see how that pathway works. And I think that's a great way for them to aspire to be in that team and to really learn and grow from that. So it's tricky.
Yeah.
I think it's really tough. It is, but first and foremost, over everything, it's super important that we finally get somewhere that we can call home. Like
Yeah.
Everton train at Finch Farm with the men, and then they have their own facility in Walton Hall Park, and I think that's a really, really nice thing, and just shows the amount of care that have gone into like helping that their women's team grow, and ultimately you put in everything you can off the pitch, and hopefully that then goes hand in hand with improving things on the pitch as well. So I think it would be great. And to be honest with you, I don't know what the other option is. Like what are the other options? Because none of the other things have been spoken about, have they? So this seems
No.
like it's the only one really viably an option, really, isn't it?
Yeah, because I think whenever we sign like new deals with Tranmere and stuff, like I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure, I want to say it's a stadium and training facility like package deal, which makes no sense. So then it's kind of like figuring that out as well. It's like, will we be able to come to a deal where we still play at Prenton but don't use the facilities, and which I'm pretty
Well,
sure
that's the
would
other
be.
thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see that being an issue, but you just don't know. But then
Mm.
also it's like it's one of them where yeah, Melwood is a good option, but then I don't know. You've kind of got to do what's easiest for the club, and is that an easier transition? Just
Yeah.
having the women's first team based there, and then having your other teams based somewhere else. It's kind of makes it
Yeah.
difficult for in
You don't
terms
know
of like
how
a
it's.
club.
Go on.
No, I was just saying, like in terms of like a club perspective, like that makes it more difficult, like trying to
Yeah.
grow the team in general rather than just the first team, if that makes sense.
Yeah. The whole pathway, essentially, isn't it? Don't know.
Yeah,
It'll be really interesting to see how it pans out.
and also
Um,
it's like the money that's involved in it as well. Like how much is it to buy back Melwood? What would that cost? How would that
Mm.
affect the team going forwards? Is that going to take out a huge chunk of money on the women's team that you necessarily don't really want? It's like
Mm.
there's pros and cons to all of it.
Yes.
So I don't know. We'll see how that kind of materializes. I'm not sure how that will happen, but
No.
I'm pretty sure it's
No.
something that's always been in the pipeline. Like it's definitely it's been something that we've spoken about in the previous
Mm. Plenty of
years.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, we'll move on then. Obviously, let us know your thoughts in the comments below about whether you think Mel would be a good transition or not. But speaking of team and the club moving on, there's also been a lot of players who have moved on as well. At the end of last season,
Just
we
before
have
we posted last week's video.
honest to God, it always happens to us. Like how many times we've done something and something else has happened, and you're like, well, we've missed that ship. But
Don't we
yeah,
look stupid?
we obviously spoke a lot about Riley leaving and how
Yes.
much she'll be missed, but a lot of long-time serving players are also going as well. So it was announced that Ashley Hodgson, Meg Campbell, Rhiannon Roberts, Leon Robe, Riley Foster, Carl Humphrey, and Charlotte Clark will all have all left the club at the end of the season that has just finished. It was kind of like out of nowhere. Some of this, like when it was announced, like it was a bit women's
Yes.
football, the turnover in women's football is very, very quick. We all know that. We've all spoken about that. But to see, certain players from that list go after all that you've been through with them, it's kind of like, wow, like it's gonna feel and look like a completely new team next season. Obviously, you go back to January when you've lost like to like Rachel Furness and stuff as well, like such like the heart of our team is in a lot of those players, and it's going to be really sad that you're not going to see them in a red shirt next season, isn't it?
It is. You would almost say end of an era, would you say?
Yeah.
I feel like maybe in this like transitional period, and I think as sad as it is to see like anyone leave, like I feel like in women's football you make such connections with these people and you really invest in their journey at the club as well. And you really, yeah, it's on a more almost personal level, isn't it? It's a lot more relatable, a lot easier to talk and access them. So with anyone leaving, it's difficult. But I think if you're putting like feelings aside and that sort of thing, some of them maybe not sure, but you have to have this kind of thing to keep moving. It's a constant cog, and you need to add new things to the cog to keep it going, to keep the oil burning kind of thing. And I think what I'm hoping is this is maybe a sign for how our transfer window is going to go. If we are getting rid of 6 players, and we're not bringing anyone in, we're going to be in a very difficult situation. So I hope, and it's quite exciting to think about how nice this transfer window could be, who we might get in, who not. I know we've been linked with a few different people, but obviously they're all just rumours at the minute, aren't they? But I would be surprised if we didn't bring in at least 3 or 4 players this transfer window, if not more. Do you know what I mean? But like, especially for me, seeing Roby go probably was one of the hardest things, and maybe Ash as well, just because of how long she's been associated with the club for, and like obviously come through like academy level and stuff.
Yeah.
Roby was a difficult one. I think we were both unsure whether she would go at the end of this season, unsure if she would even go at the end of last season. Like, it was very unaware, let's say. And yeah, I don't know, I think we both have quite a special place for Roby in our hearts because she was one of the first people we ever interviewed. Oh my God, we're so young in that video. Oh, that haircut from me is not the one.
It's the outfit choices.
It's just, I looked like an absolute twat. Absolute twat. Why did someone leave me to dress myself like that?
That's like
No.
second year uni, first year uni vibe, that isn't it? Like,
You could just tell at that point I was living off pot noodle. Like, you could just tell. Yeah.
most crackers used to have after a night out.
To be fair, absolute inside scoop here. When we interviewed Christy Murray, I was absolutely hungover to hell. Like, it was the worst thing ever. I thought I was gonna.
It was definitely like a Wednesday. Well, it was a bit of Wednesday.
It was a Thursday because I went out for uni on Wednesday night, and no joke, I nearly spewed on the train on the way there. Like, it was really bad. Anyways, so tangent of conversation. Don't need to know about my drinking habits. They don't happen anymore. I'm gonna have to carry on. I can't delve into this conversation now because everyone's gonna think I'm an alcoholic. I don't even drink anymore. Anyways, Roby, back on track. Yes, special place. I think so many different memories. Like, Roby was one of the first players that joined when we just started doing this channel, like that kind of thing. And you think, wow, she's literally been in every single part of our journey with this. And as obviously as a Red. And I think she's been so important throughout the whole thing. And for me, it was sad to see her not participate as much as maybe we thought she was going to this season and the season before. Obviously, with the introduction of Gemma and Gilly, like, that was an interesting dynamic as to who was going to be first choice pairing at centre back. And I think Roby missed out on that quite a few times. And yeah, it's really sad. It's going to be weird not seeing her in a red shirt. And what would even be weirder is seeing it in a different shirt. I think that's going to be the weird part for her.
It's like seeing where she goes next as well, though. Like,
yeah, I hope she finds a WSL team. I really do, because I think she's got the talent to be able to do that. She's got the athleticism and all those different things, and I think she'll be absolutely fine wherever she goes, Roby, because she's just so darn good at it. So darn good. Yeah.
And I think as well, it's like her and obviously Ashley Hodgson's like the big one, like, because she's spent so much of her career at Liverpool as well, and she's had a tough time with injuries and stuff over the last couple of seasons. But like, so Roby, Hodgson, Ren and Roberts, like they made sure that they made statements. And Meg Campbell, I think that really hit her hard as well, because
Yes.
she obviously was a huge part in us getting promoted to the WSL again. And a lot of these players have been through thick and thin with this team, and but it's also like what, like you touched on there, an end of an era, but it kind of proves in which the way the club is kind of going at the minute is wanting
Yes.
to like create like a new era almost, bring in
You have to.
new
You have to.
players. Yeah, and that's like, it's not nice to say, and you're not saying that these players aren't good enough, but sometimes it does get to a certain point where a club thinks, well, we don't want you anymore, and that's just part and parcel of what kind of
Yeah.
comes with football, unfortunately. But yeah, like we said, they're going to be missed massively, both on and off the pitch, and every single one of those players was always, very welcoming towards us whenever we seen them, which was always nice.
Because we're
But yeah,
crazy. We're crazy.
yeah, the amount of things that we were trusted with was was
Who
bizarre.
lets us near players? Do you know what I mean? Like, oh
I
God.
mean, I was on Prenton Park's pitch last week trying to get my beard to come over. Do you know what I mean? Like, what? It
Honestly,
was like,
let us
it
out
was
for a day. Do you know what I mean? Let us out. But yeah, that's a
yeah,
good point, actually. Every one of them was very, very, very welcoming to anything
yeah.
that we were involved with, and that was very much appreciated.
All our stupid games we made them play as well, and that media day.
Oh God, what a throwback. Again, who let me dress myself that day? Do you know what I mean? I don't think I was even in uni at that point. So I don't think I've got an
No,
excuse.
we were fully working. We
Fully
fully had it
fledged.
out.
Do you think we've like graduated like to become a full-fledged adult yet? I feel like yeah.
No,
No.
I'm not quite there.
I
I
don't
mean,
have
I
yours
have,
yet.
I don't, I have adult responsibilities, but I don't at the same time. So, I mean, I still live at home, so
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say just for my own sanity that no, I haven't yet, because then I don't have to live up to that standard.
no.
Self-care is
Still,
the best.
we're not in the overs category in X Factor yet, so I wouldn't say no.
Not yet. We're almost 24 though, so that's
I think when you
depressing.
get into the overs, that's when it's, it's
Yeah.
time to change
Isn't
something.
it your
But we're
birthday
not
like
there yet, so it's
soon?
tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, I just thought that. I was thinking in my head, I swear it's the 7th. And I was like, what day is it? Well,
Yeah,
happy birthday to Lauren and
tomorrow,
happy
so
birthday to you.
woo!
Very well done.
Yeah, the big 24. So still in the unders, so it's fine.
But do
All
you know
right.
what though? I read something the other day that really baffled my head. When when it's your birthday, you've already then lived, for example, your 24th year. So you will be living in your 25th year.
Yeah,
You know what I
I've
mean?
seen it TikTok before. We've probably seen the same thing. Like you've
Yeah.
already lived 24 years, and I'm like,
So when you turn 24 on your birthday, you've completed your 24th year, and now you are 24, then you're starting to complete your 25th year.
24 is just a disgusting number, though, isn't it?
Wait till we're like 27 or 29. Oh,
I just think of New Girl though, when Schmidt's like 29.
I just, anyone who says getting older, oh God, is a good thing is really lying,
No,
because
I think it's a good thing. I think getting
no,
older is a good thing.
no, I
I
don't, I
wouldn't,
don't, I don't
but
want that.
I wouldn't like to be like 18 again.
I want to be 19 forever until forever.
Plus, we lost a year with COVID,
Two.
technically.
So technically
Tech,
we're
yeah.
22.
So technically, we're not Taylor Swift, yeah. So it's
I don't know
fine.
about you. Oh, I feel like
I'm
I've
not
just
feeling
offended.
it.
I feel like I've just offended everyone who's now 27 and 29. So I'm just gonna say I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
I think people are shocked to learn how old we actually are. Someone asked me yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, I'll be 24 on Wednesday," and they're like, "Wow." I was like, "Is that a good wow or a bad wow?"
Is that because we're immature? Maybe.
I think so.
Mm.
I think it is.
Yeah. I prefer not to think about the concept of time
It's
because
fine. It's
I
fine.
realized today that we're halfway through the year.
Yeah, I
Like,
did that 6 month thing on Instagram. Like this like what you did it as well. Like did 6. Yeah, I didn't like it.
I'm
I was
sorry,
like,
like
wow.
where's that gone? Do you know what I mean? Where's it gone?
Like you're taking your pictures and you're going back through the months, and I was like, wow, was that February? That
But
seems
also,
like last week.
I was like, I need to do more exciting things. It's like,
Yeah,
I've not done much.
it's
The
kind
last
of like
break,
this when the excitement starts. It's summer now.
I know
Right?
we need, yeah, festival season and all that jazz. Can't wait to go on holiday.
Um,
Yeah,
oh.
yeah.
And
Anyways, one of the big,
we might be going out on Thursday. Not going out,
yeah,
but
yeah. I
socialising.
don't drink. I've just told you this. You're not helping here, Lauren. No, like genuinely, I actually don't. This is what's so funny about this conversation.
No, it's like you weren't a big drinker after like second year uni, I wouldn't say.
No, I never have been. Just that Chrissy Murray interview seemed to have hit the spot. It really did. The day before, yeah.
Yeah.
What,
Okay, let's move on.
what a time to be alive, hey?
Move on before our Zoom time logs. One final thing I want to talk about that I did see on, well, two. We'll touch on two quickly. She's a baller on Instagram. Great women's content. Great. They posted on Instagram this morning that the increase in WSL attendances compared to the 21-22 season has gone up by 173%.
Wow.
So the average attendance in 21-22 was 1,931, and the average attendance for last season just gone is 5,272, which is unreal.
That must be because of the introduction of using men's stadiums, mustn't it?
I
That
think
must
it's
brought it up.
interesting in stadiums. I think it's more like advertising, obviously having like more availability on the telly, on socials, and I think also off the back of like all the Euros hype and stuff as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
You can see how much a major tournament like affects the season after. So hopefully going forward, obviously with the Women's World Cup this summer, it's only going to
Yeah.
be even better next season. So
This
I
is
think
great.
that's
I
something
love
exciting.
this. I think even when
Yeah.
we've been going to Prenton Park, we've seen quite a massive difference. God,
Well, the
sometimes
massive difference for me was final game of the season. I couldn't even get in the car park.
no, what a
I'm
disgrace.
usually flying. I'm usually getting the same spec every week. Couldn't
To be
even get
honest,
in.
though, to be fair, we do turn up like 10 minutes before.
No, I was my usual time. I must admit, I wasn't late.
Okay, well,
Uh,
it's good. Buy a bigger car
oh,
park. Huh. Let's all park
Buy
at
a
that.
big car park. Usually you could park on the land behind it, but it was a fiver, and I wasn't paying a fiver.
Where did you park in the end?
I had to hike. Amy, I had blisters on my feet. I'm not even like I'm not even being dramatic.
I hope
I
you
had
took your walking
blisters.
boots.
I had blisters. John was there from the rap, and when I got there, he was like, "You all right?" Because I was puffing, I was gasping because I was sprinting because I was late.
Oh
Because
God,
by the
get
time I
that cup
found
of
somewhere to
tea.
park, by the time I found somewhere to park, the match had already kicked off.
Oh God.
I was running through the streets of Birkenhead,
If
like
anyone saw an out of breath lady, you know who it
with a
was.
backpack on in the heat. That was me,
Oh God.
honestly. And then I got run over as well.
Oh God.
Drama.
Well, we say this as if it's a negative. Maybe the running part and
Yeah.
battle breath is possibly a bit of a negative, but the actual prospect of it being full is good.
No, it was a great thing. It's wonderful. I'm so happy that like we had that many people at the match. But like, you know, I'd like to get in the car park next time.
Have to go even
Or
earlier, mate.
or in the surrounding areas, not everywhere be double yellows and permit parking. I appreciate that you want to park outside your house, but you live next to a football stadium. Like, what you
Not knowing there's
expect?
a game on. Not knowing there's a
People are gonna park outside your house. It's just,
game. I have to get the bus. I have to get the bus. No, maybe not. No.
Thank you.
No.
Fine. If you get the bus, it's fine, but it's getting home.
Takes
Getting
longer.
home.
It takes too long.
No, but it's also the all run weird times on a Sunday, didn't they? So
Uber.
no thanks.
Anyways, positive. This is a positive.
It is. It is a positive. It's a negative for my car. It's a positive for the.
Negative for your lungs.
Yeah, they were all right. I think that's what brought on me illness. So at the start of the chest infection.
Could be.
It was... Anyway, no one wants to hear that. But yeah, we've only got 8 minutes left on the Zoom. And now just want to throw in the mix.
Oh yes. Well, it came out today. We'll only glaze over this because it's kind of sad, and we don't like sadness in the podcast. It came out today that obviously off the back of Reading being relegated this season from the WSL, they will be really sad now transitioning to a part-time status in the championship, which, whatever way you look at it, is a huge step backwards for not just Reading but for the women's game, because the championship is going in the other direction. They're trying to push teams to become full-time. Like Bristol were full-time down there this season. I think London City Lionesses are also full-time, and there's a couple of others that are. So that's really, really quite upsetting to see a team go like that, and the jobs that are going to be lost, the amount of players that are going to leave because they have to, because they need to be full-time to make their living. Yeah, it's a really, really, really sad day for women's football. And tell you what, Reading men got relegated this season, and now the women as well. So that's really, really, really tough.
Yeah, it's bizarre to think about though, isn't it? Like the second division of women's football, and players have to have other jobs to be able to maintain just basic living, really. Like imagine the likes of like, who went down the men's this season? Leeds, well, Leicester went down. They only won the Premier League like what, like
5-6
couple of years
ago,
ago.
was it? Yeah.
They've now been relegated. Imagine them releasing a statement going, which has probably happened to some men's teams before, but imagine them having to release a statement going, we've had to go part time as a club because we can't financially we can't do it. It's like wow, like you would never expect something like that to happen. And obviously like with Reading being such like a driving force of women's football, what the hell was that?
Oh my god. I thought someone was going through the window. Oh,
same. I was like, oh my god.
Jack Skellington's gone for a little ride. Woo!
The window open.
God, that's scary. Did you see me go?
Yeah, I was like, I can see something moving. But yeah, there was such like a driving force of women's football right from the beginning. So to see it's sad in that aspect as well, like a big team like Reading goes on like that. But they'll be back. They'll
be back, hopefully.
Fingers crossed they will. But yeah, I think that's everything. There's
And
loads. There's actually like when I've Googled, there's actually loads that we could have spoke about, but we'd be here for hours. We've only got 5 minutes left on
no
the
one
Zoom.
needs to hear all that from us, really.
And we just waffle anyway. We spent longer talking about our outfits than anything else. So
We do.
we'll on that note, we'll love and leave yous. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this week's podcast. Remember to like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you all next week with a new video. Bye.
Bye.